share your
Oh, Jesus Christ. Can you all hear me?
Sorry, can you guys see my screen?
Can you all hear me? Can I get the guys?
You are loud and audible, Mr. Emmanuel. Everything you are saying, the Jesus
Ah.
Christ and that, I can hear
Jesus.
everything.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Emmanuel. What are you using? Are you using a phone or a system?
Oh.
Mr. Emmanuel.
Can you hear me?
Wow, what bite?
Mr. Emmanuel.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Why are you doing like this? What's wrong with your network?
Hello. Oh.
Hello, can you hear us? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm loud and clear. All right. All right. Sorry. Jesus Christ. I'm let me change this my location. Maybe get a better location. Maybe to hear me more. Okay. So I thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you to everyone, the mentors. I see everyone from Mr. Ditula to B.Khrease to Miss Peace. Everyone. I see everyone. All right. Can you hear me now?
You are loud and clear.
Thank you so much. So I see everyone. I see B.Khrease, everyone. Yeah, why I wait to upload my slides. That one is being done by network here is so bad. I have to move outside now. So I'm not with my system. So the moderator gave me with my slide. All right.
Okay, Mr.
So
you can start now.
All right. Any point you can't hear me again, please let me know. Kindly let me know. Any point you can't hear me, kindly let me know.
No problem, but we can hear you. All this, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can hear everything. From the period you were shouting Jesus, everything I can hear you. So I believe other people can also hear you. So just go ahead. When I can't hear you, I will let you know.
Thank you so much, Mentor Chris. Thank you so much.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
So the basis of research questions and structure of thesis. I term it a guide to getting started with your research. So to me, I see our tutor, I see the undergraduate in this meeting also. Yeah. So Mr. Benson last week did some comprehensive, give us a comprehensive understanding of chapter 1, which he gave us what to look out to, how the introduction should be, your background, your scope, and everything. And then I can tell you that chapter 2 is a bridge that connects chapter 1 or any other thing you have done up there before chapter 1, and that connects to chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, and every other thing you'll be doing after. So I mean that the major part of your research work, chapter 2, major part of your research work. So that means that if you're able to get your chapter 2 right, you can get it right, there's tendency for you to get every other part right. Yeah. So chapter 2 is a part whereby you give you give us an insight into what you are doing. Give us an insight into, you start from the major, then you start cutting it down till you get to your point. So you give us an insight into, okay, this research you are doing, what are you doing? And as I go on, I'm using my own project as an example. My project was on seizure, that's epilepsy, an ad project. So I was able to learn this thing. It was not that it was a project that someone has done before. That a new project kind of. So I'm using that as an example. So I go next slide, please. Oh, all right. So I'll be staying with this content now. A structure of thesis, additional review, a theoretical framework and concept, the empirical research and findings, the critical analysis and synthesis, and the implication of study. And I think I had one too, which I can time in conclusion. So I can time in conclusion. Okay, so thank you. Let's have the next slide. All right, the basic structure of a thesis. The whole thing that makes up a thesis. You have your abstract. The abstract is literally, I think Mr. Benson spoke about this last week, and then Mr. Chris spoke about this the week before. So your abstract contains everything. Then your chapter 1 introduction, chapter 2 the show review, chapter 3 your methodology, chapter 4 results, the 5 discussion, the 6 conclusion. So I can tell you that this is what I've said earlier. The show review is like the bridge between abstract introduction and your methodology and results. That means that if your teacher review is not there, you are not letting us know. On visual review already from your abstract, I'm moving that to your visual review, you already know what you know the kind of thing we expect from you. We know the results we get. So if you are getting a different result from what you wrote here, that means a problem. That's why we have the visual review that okay, we know what we are going, we know what we want to give to us at the end. And on chapter 6 is conclusion. Next slide, please. All right. Okay. I did this analogy now. Question. I call it the research, the whole of research. I call it too. Your research, apart from the first day, you entered your final year, maybe 400 level, 500 level. On the first day, till the last day, you finish your project, doing project defense. This is the whole thing you are doing for research. So this is there'll be a question, a review, and a solution that you document. And in most cases, the solution and documentation comes hand in hand. Solution and documentation comes hand in hand. So let's look at it now. For your question, we have creating a well-thought research topic is essential for directing your investigation. A well-thought research topic, that everything starts with a question. Everything starts with a question. Okay, why am I doing this? Questions just like, why am I doing this? Why? What do I want to gain from doing this? What is my end result? When am I going to do this? How will I do this? And where will I end doing this? And then what did I want to get at the end of doing this? So the what, I can also say the what, the why, the where, and the when question in this place. So that's what we ask. So most cases, in all cases, not most cases, in all cases now, there's a when and a where. In some cases, there's a where. For us, like that one is already there. The when is like when you get your final year, you must submit a thesis. Like that one is there. There's no argument about that. So that's the when. Where is your 500 level? And so for some of us in the science, the STEM, the science, technology to be specific, some of the engineering, it must be in the lab. So most of 80% of what we do is in the lab, but the management can go outside, things like that. So all those questions are answered for us. But the others that are not answered for us is, what am I going to do? And in some cases, the end product, the end result am I going to get? What is my end result? So the what is like, okay, what am I doing? For example, if you have most cases, our passion stems from what we have done during our practical courses, our theoretical courses and practical courses. So let me say that I find that anytime they are doing a subject just the line of phytomedicine, they just line of taking plants, using plants to treat diseases, I have interest there. I have great interest there. So it might determine to a larger extent. It might determine to a larger extent what my final year project will be. It might determine the what of my research. So I find that from 100 level 2, 3, 4, My courses are, anytime I have courses like that, I'm happy. I am stimulated to stay in those classes and have A's. I have minimum B's, but in most cases A's. So I was like, I'm always there. Okay, how do this thing work? We take some plants, we look at some properties, and then we take those properties and use it in treating different kind of disease. So that one is already it's already giving answers to my what question. What am I going to do? They give answers to okay. I'm thinking that okay, and I found out that okay, there are diseases like cancer, seizure, things like this that okay, it causes problem a lot. So can I be a solution to this? So that one's already answering my what question. So our what question is always we have been advised to when we're in school to pay attention. So we can know where we have our good points, our strong points, our weak points. But I now found out that there are some cases that maybe in some labs now you don't have the opportunity to choose your words yourself. Yeah. Some cases where you don't have the opportunity to choose your words yourself. You just find yourself in some lab. You just give it to a supervisor. Supervisor does not hear what you want to say. Okay, I have some master students working on A, B, C. You to join them and work on A, B, C. Or I have a PhD they're working on this one. You to have a master student and undergraduate, join them and work on this. So in that case, we don't have the tendency to use the words. But on getting to those places, we can still choose a word in the sense that we can still look at what we are going to do and then take our time to study more on it. That's what literature review is all about now. Take our time to study more. That's what I move us to review. Okay. So when we're taking our time to study more on it, maybe it's what we are choosing or what we found ourselves to choose. So I said, conducting a thorough research review is essential for understanding the current state of knowledge on a topic, identifying gaps, and providing a foundation for new research. Good. So your what question is being answered, your when, your where have been answered, your how is not yet been answered. So when you now get to your review stage, you now start looking at it, okay, this is my what question. My what question is I want to find out, okay, I said I will use myself as an example now. But my what question was that my research is that this is seizure. How do I treat epilepsy? Call it epilepsy, call it seizure. So I think epilepsy is an advanced stage of seizure actually. Seizure leads to epilepsy. So we have this is seizure. This is seizure. And then I'm told that plants are being used. So what do I do? My review questionnaires, I now start researching on journals. I'm going to teach us how to get journals and co. I start reviewing these things. I start reviewing past work on this thing. And from there, I'm able to identify a gap. Maybe in previous years they have been using a particular plant. And the word I've been using in that part of plant is maybe antioxidant and anti-inflammatory part only. And they're using a particular plant. And now look, and I found out that this antioxidant and anti-inflammatory part is also in another plant. Let's say I'm using plant A now. All the research I'm seeing now be plant A. And I found out that the only thing that I'm picking out of plant A is anti-inflammatory and antioxidant parts, just that two. But I moved on to plant, and I was like, okay, this anti-inflammatory and antioxidant part is also in plant B now. Let me see. What if I use plant B and then I try using plant B? Will I get the same answer? And from there, I made a little research into plant B, and I found out that okay, if I use plant B, do they have the same properties? I can extract it and use the same method of extraction, a different method of extraction to get my result. And then from there, I move to my solution. So now I've had my question in my head. I'm having a way to answer my question, and now I found a way to answer the question. The review is okay. I'm thinking of this to answer the question, and the solution is I'm able to look at it from other reviews, other research, find out that this will answer the question. That's my solution. So I said, solution is finding answers to already raised questions, providing an answer. Okay, I believe I was the okay. Providing an answer.
Yeah.
Document. All right, thank you, sir. And then documentation. Documentation is now where your whole your question, your review, your solution, you combine everything together and you bring it down. When you bring it down, that's when you have your whole thesis. And the major part of this, the review, and one part of the solution is actually in the chapter 2. That's what we're talking about more here. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so literature review. We're focused on the literature review now. We have the research question, the research review, and the thesis structure. I call the research question the bedrock of study. The research review, that one involves your research review from the work review. That means that you have something you are working on, review. You already have, you are gradually building an Can you hear me? I think my network went
Yeah,
off
I
here.
can hear you now.
All right. I'm continuing now. I believe you don't hear me. So your review
Yeah.
is whereby you now move to your articles and journals. That's when you now are providing a strong reasons. You're providing a strong reason for your answers. You are getting answers to your questions. And then your structure is you are providing a framework for your research. Framework is that you are providing your research. It's in your own head. We don't know what's in your head. Let us know what's in your head. Convince us so that from there we can give you your own final the final thing you need, and then from there we can develop other research and find answers to questions, other questions. Yeah, next slide. Thank you so much. Next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you, thank you. Yeah. So diving in now. I'm diving in now. So the literature review. Hold on. Okay, so literature review. Sorry for that. I had to move out because of the network. Literature review is an extensive synopsis. I said it's an extensive synopsis, an evaluation of the body of knowledge regarding a specific subject. Okay. Look at the exact what I used. I said regarding a specific subject. As literature review. It's an extensive synopsis. Know those keywords. All right. Notice the keyword I used. Extensive synopsis. Evaluation of the body of knowledge and a specific subject. Those keywords are major keywords. I'm giving an extensive synopsis. Unlike the abstract and introduction. In this chapter 2, I'm breaking it down. I'm giving you an extensive how did it happen. For example, the example I used was that plant A and epilepsy. Okay, so in my literature review now, I will talk about plant A itself. I will break down plant A. I will break down and make people see what I am saying. So that's based off that's research all about. I'm making people see what I'm seeing. I'm not just stopping them, I'm giving them a solution. So I'm making you see what I saw in plant A that made me say, okay, this plant A. I tell you everything about plant A. Now break it down. I start with the major distance and I break it down till I get to a point where I say, okay, I pick my two properties, antioxidant and anti-inflammatory, for example, and then from there I again talk about it. And also I move to my epilepsy. What is epilepsy? I'm introducing it to you like you don't know, like someone new, or like we are someone that don't know a lot about these things. But as for me, that's my research. So I'm making you do know a lot about this. I'm bringing it into your consciousness. So I explain it, things like that. And then I said he attains methodically looking for access. I combine the result of earlier research to present a summary of the state of knowledge at the moment. So, visual review is more of like I'm bringing my own point. I'm trying to tell you that this is my own point I'm bringing. I deduced it from other research that has been done in this place, and then I added to what I deduced. Let me break that down now. So, my own point now, I'm trying to convince you that plant B also can treat that same disease. Before you are using plant A, so what did I do? I come to you, I bring in plantain, now. I tell you things about plantain, that's where citation comes in. I cite my everything I need to do. I tell you that in the year 19 so, in the year 2010, And also, it's advised that the study is no more than 10 years. I will still talk about that too. In the year so and so, Mr. So and so said, Plant A has this and this property. So and they have used it, and the result was great. In the year 2020, Mr. B worked on what Mr. A did, and he found out that Mr. A was correct, but more than what he did, he was able to add more results. So as for me, I've told everything about Mr. A and what Mr. A and Mr. B and the plant A. And I'll tell you that, okay, this same plant B too, from the little research that this one did, although it didn't work on the two properties to treat a particular disease, it treated another diseases or other diseases, for example. And then he found out that the same thing there happened. And for me, I found out that, and now me, I'm using that same thing he did to treat that disease B or disease B now, to treat as disease B. I'm using that same thing now to treat disease A that plant A was used to treat. So I'm bringing in, I'm not mentioning names so that we won't confuse you, or just I'm using plant A, plant B. So I'm bringing in research of plant A by different researchers, and I'm bringing to plant B by my own, or by my own researchers, maybe the little I can see, and then I'm contributing my own research to that. So chapter 2, the short review tells you that, okay, I'm combining these results, I'm doing this, and I finally present a summary of the state of knowledge at the moment. So finally I present a summary of the state of knowledge, a summary. Next slide, please. Time is going so fast. Next slide. Thank you. So we have the type of literature review. The literature review, you have the narrative, the systematic, the scoping, the mental analysis, and the integrative. Actually, okay, let me explain this one first. Right, so what I want to say now. For the narrative, I'm focusing on synthesizing and summarizing the findings qualitatively. I'm dealing more with the quality, not the quantity. I'm not that I carry out 25 years. No, I'm dealing with the result of the research, the quality of the research. How is the quality? Like how potent is what I'm bringing? How what are the evidence I'm bringing with what I'm bringing? Like what I'm bringing, is it true? I might not really need quantity like that, like the amount. I don't need to carry out. For example, I'm doing an antioxidant test. I just have to carry out some SOD and co. Just and then I can tell you that it was shown expressively and it was shown so well. But for the systematic, I use a structured and rigorous methodology. A structured and rigorous methodology. So there's a systematic thing. So people have been using that method before. So what I just do is that I just go to the lab, get for example, maybe I'm trying to do a particular antioxidant test, for example. I'm trying to do a research or a what is this test now? This food test that we do. When I do the food test and then a food test, and then there's already a method to do this. So I just follow it methodologically. And then we have the scoping review. This one, I'm involved with the key concepts, the evidence, and gaps in research related topic. So I involve a lot of things in this. I involve the evidences. Evidences they are people that have done it before, the people that they did A and B and C and they got answer. They added 1 plus 2 plus 3 and they got 6. Yeah. The meta-analysis review, I provide evidences using statistical power. So scoping and meta-analysis, they are both evidences, but for the meta-analysis, I use statistical power. So I'm telling you that I'm bringing something like graph into the place now. I'm bringing something like a graphical representation that the year 2024, for example, the first quarter, it was assumed that 1 out of every 5 people dies of per day now. 1 out of every 5 people per day dies of neurodegenerative disease. I'm bringing that out now. Or I'm bringing something like in 1 out of every 5 people has potential capacity to do something. I'm bringing out evidence that 20% is controlled by 80%, 80% is controlled by 20%, things like that. So I'm bringing out statistical power. Integrative, I use both qualitative and quantitative research. But one thing I want to tell us now is that when doing research, actually, in most cases, more than 70% cases, actually, we actually interwoven all these types. Actually. This type is just to give segment to these things. But actually, in the real sense, so when you do some especially when you're in Nigeria now, in this sense, you kind of interwoven all these things. You do the qualitative, you bring your quantitative. Although some might, in some cases, whereby some management courses might involve some quantity more than the quality, some science courses might involve more than the quality, more than the quantity, like that. But in real sense, you interwoven everything. Thank you. Let's move to the next slide, please. Next slide, please. Can you hear me? All right. So I will be component of leisure review. Yeah, this is a major part. This is a major part. This is what should be leisure review. These are the things that are contained, the components of leisure review. The first one is the introduction. The first one is the introduction. You cannot just, it's like, I'm just seeing you for the first time now. You are trying to tell me that. You're trying to tell me the reason why you came here. No, you don't tell me the reason why you came. No, you have to try to tell me who you are, build it up. I use an example now. So in this place, now you have to tell me that, okay, for example, I'm doing it. I'm looking at, let me use what we know now. I'm looking at cancer, for example, or epilepsy, for example. So you don't just tell me epilepsy, no. You tell me from the beginning. You tell me epilepsy belongs to what we call neurodegenerative disease, things like that. Tell me from there, neurodegenerative disease, or in short, can tell me disease first. Then you go to neurodegenerative disease. That means that from disease you are specific on some specific subject, neurodegenerative disease. And there are many neurodegenerative diseases. There are many things that we classify as neurodegenerative disease that might not be neurodegenerative to you or to science. So you tell me that neurodegenerative disease, this and this and this and that, then you break it down to what you are talking about, epilepsy. Then the second one is the search strategy. Describe how to use the databases, the keywords, the inclusion, the exclusion criteria to find pertinent materials. So that one is about which strategy are you using to search. Okay. The leisure review must contain that part. That's what chapter 2 must contain that part. Which you are telling us, okay, what am I doing now? Strategy I'm using to search that I'm searching with first maybe something marks of 5 years this time, marks of 2019, 2018. And I'm searching with what? I'm searching with diseases. So at times that the plants can also treat some central nervous system diseases. But no, I'm not dealing with that. I'm dealing with this one, this neuromuscular or neuro this and these diseases. Next slide, please. Okay, my third and my fourth thing, the third and the fourth thing you must have the summary of findings and your critical analysis. The summary of findings, because you literally, I can assure you that when that's 70% of what you will do, when that's 80% of what you will do now, you don't literally be the first. You only be the first in maybe something that, for example, we have been driving cars on 4 tires now, for example. And then you can be the first to say, okay, let me say, I want to drive cars on 4 tires, so I want to be using 2 steerings, for example. So you're not the first to drive cars on 4 tires, but you can be the first to do 2 steerings. So in most cases, give us the summary of what has happened to those that are driving cars with 1 steering on 4 tires first. So what has been the happenings around those things. So give us the summary of something, summary of your findings. That's why I said you summarize the main findings from the reviewed studies. You must review something. Nobody wakes up and then write a complete project without doing a citation. No, it's not possible. So there's something that as a question you had in your mind, then you went somewhere to some research and you found some answers. Tell us those things. Then from there you can now bring in your own. And then critical analysis. Now you evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of the existing studies. Good. I think Mr. Benson spoke about this. Also, one of the things that make research sweet is that in the 5 studies we have considered, you saw that all of their studies, they only focused on plant A, extracting antioxidant materials and anticoagulant properties from plant A, but they didn't touch plant B, and plant B also has the same thing. So the gap is that everybody that's focusing on plant A, but you now found out that plant B has the exact thing and can do the exact thing. From there, give us a summary, and from there, give us a critical analysis. You are able to analyze it. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, yeah. The fifth and the sixth thing is synthesis and citations. So in a synthesis, I know like the 14, you have your findings. So the synthesis is that you are bringing in your findings from wherever you found it, from your review studies, from your citations, and then from your I don't want to use your citation yet now. From your review studies, you are bringing your findings to us, and then synthesis that you're able to synthesize it, you're able to merge it in a way that it's not absurd, it's not out of line. For example, you can be, for example, you can be, for example, you can be giving us about plant A. That is so bad. Okay, yeah, I believe you cannot hear me now. I'm back. I think I just went off. So you can't be giving us something about plant A. Yeah, suddenly out of nowhere, just move to plant C straight. No. You must give us something about plant A. What are you doing? You are saying plant A. Then from there, you manipulate plant B to it, and from there you move on to wherever you want to move on to it. So that one is there must be a correlation, there must be a linking. That's what makes the project sweet. I must be reading your research work. I must be excited. Yeah, I don't know one of the things that makes professors to approve research. I'm reading your work, I'm excited. I'm reading your work and I'm like, okay, this guy has he's seen something here. So let me see, let me go with him. So I don't come for my own things, for my own view again. I go with your own view. What is he saying? Let me see the way he's saying these things. And let the citation. All right. So moderator, can you help me with the other just one page slide that I sent? So citation, this place, it is the great correct name of other research sources used in a research. I'm show us something now. If you can hear me, I believe you can hear me, moderator. Can you hear me with the other slide? Just one page slide now. I can able to insert that into this slide. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you see it?
It's not up yet.
Hello?
It's not up yet. It's not up. Can you see the synthesis and citations?
I can see it here. Why can't you see it?
It's
Okay,
up already.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I can see it now. So we have different ways where we cite our things. We have the upper. In most cases, when you look at most cases, I think the most one uses the upper. But it can differ. But there's for undergraduates in most cases, there's always a standard. So there are different kinds of what I've said earlier. Different kinds, but in most cases, there's always a standard. So I'm going to use this. I was doing some research and I found out that this is mostly used. Of the upper indexing, things like that. When you are the citation, there's referencing at the end. Someone else will speak out referencing to you. So let me stick with the citations for now. So when you are citing in most cases, the advice that most cases now, except your professor, lecturers now say, okay, change what you are doing, change the citation method. Because it's advised to cite things this way. It's a recommended way of citation actually. So your journal article, you follow this. Your book, if it's a book that you are referencing, that you are citing, follow this. It's a book chapter, follow the author's family name, initials, the command, everything must be there. And then if it's a conference paper at the end, you follow this, the artwork, it's a film and the artwork, you follow this. But in most cases, this is used as referencing at the end part, which someone will just speak about that. When you are citing, you must cite correctly. Can we go back because of time? Can we go back to our slides? Thank you. I would have spoken more about this because of time. I believe that the person dealing with reference will speak more about that. So let's go back to that. Yeah. Next slide, please. Thank you so much. Next slide. And then the conclusion of your whole summary of findings, synthesis, finding this, finding that. Your conclusion must be a conclusion, must be something that drives your point home. Something that makes us see your point. For example, I think in my own time when I told I had to learn this, learn this first hand. In my own time, when I was doing this, what I was doing was an epilepsy. So I had to add people called me and they was like, okay, getting my conclusion was hard somehow. But I later found out that it was me that was not doing it well. So what I did was that I didn't look at it. My problem was once there's a synthesis, when there's a synergy in your work, the conclusion will be easier. But once there's no synergy, once there's no synergy, your conclusion will be hard. Your conclusion will be now you'll be having two different conclusions and there'll be problem. And once there's problem in your conclusion like that, there'll be problem in your chapter 4. Yeah, I think it's method. Chapter 4, there'll be real problem. So your conclusion must be everything you have said now. So what do you want? What do you now want to tell us from everything you have said, from the stories you have given us, from the diseases, the native diseases, epilepsy, plant A, plant B? What do you want to tell us? You want to tell us that, okay, want to suggest implications for practice. Want to suggest policies for us. Want to suggest further research for us. So want to suggest that, okay, what I'm going to do is that my chapter 3, you might not really say this, but your conclusion must calculate, and I will be telling you what I will do to make sure that everything here that I've spoken about can be treated, can be cured, or can be managed, or can be prevented, things like that. Thank you. Next slide, please. All right. So as we're moving on, we're going to the critical analysis of existing research. Those are look at the components and then visual review. Also, those are what I said earlier. Analysis of existing research. So the way it goes is in 4 parts. The theoretical framework and concepts, the empirical studies and research findings, the critical analysis and synthesis, and the question of the study. So now I talked about the components, So the components, everything must be there. So you can say all those components are those things that must be contained in your research. And how you do your research and how you build and end your research is in these 4 steps. It's in these 4 parts now. There must be a theoretical framework in your research. There must be an empirical study and the research finding. There must be a critical analysis. There must be an indication of the study. So what I'll be doing now, next slide please. What I'll be doing now is that any part whereby I've touched before, maybe I've touched some of the things that must be there. This one is just the framework, just the how it must be. Those are the components, like what must be there. But this one, how it must be. So any part I've touched, maybe the words in the place of me explaining the what must be there, the components, parts I've touched, the how it must be. I'm just say it and then move because I think I'm going to be out of time now. So theoretical framework, it explains the theories and concepts, the subject. Okay, it provides a framework of comprehending the connections between variables and things in the explanation and forecasting of occurrences. And so in this place, we are concerned about the theories, the concepts. Okay, next slide, please. I want to explain with using an example. I think I put an example in all these slides. Next slide, please. Good. So how to develop. Let's go to the example. Next slide, please. We go back to this. Next slide, please. I want to explain. Good. So I just that I think if I use example, when we get this slide, we're able to look at the example and then come up with some. So my project work is on the impact of public secondary school on adolescent growth. Yeah, I don't want to use science here. I don't want it to be science. So I'm looking at the impact of the public secondary school on adolescent growth. How will my framework be? Now I said that framework is about concept, theories, prepositions, which is your own theory. So, how is that? What do they say? What have they been saying? And what am I saying? Good. So, the major words that must be there must be the secondary school, social media, and environmental factors. So, my project is on public secondary schools and adolescent growth. So, my chapter 2, my whole story of A to Z, story of public secondary school, adolescent growth, maybe I'm defining what public secondary school, I'm doing advisor good, things like that. It must involve these words. Secondary school, there must be keywords there, the social media, internet exposure, the environmental factor. So when you say these things, when I'm looking at your project, when I'm reading through your literature review, and I'm seeing these things, that means that you are connected. There's a synergy between what you are saying and the reality that is happening. Nobody wants abstract literature review. Nobody wants rocket science there. No, there's a synergy. You know what you are saying, because that means that maybe you already carry out research or something, so you know these things. This is what they do. And then the theories. For example, when I'm saying this like this, there's a theory called the fraud psychosexual developmental theory, which says that your childhood experiences and unconscious desires influences behavior. Good. Now you have my attention. That means that you're giving me a theory that has been proven to be true. My theory is that childhood experiences and unconscious desires influences behavior. That means that the people I move with when I was in secondary school influenced my behavior. I might have changed now, or I have not changed, but it has been proven and so in this place now you bring in your quantitative kind of research. You give me the number. So that means that how this guy came to about his developmental theory was that he picked samples from different local governments in a particular state, for example. Then he found out that he picked from a particular state, and then he also picked from the university. I found that the first 100 to 300 level, everybody or most people, 7 out of 10 people he touched or he experimented showed an after shoot of what they had in their secondary school. And then the preposition, that's my own theories now. What is exposure among same gender? That means that I came to find out that looking at this thing, if the females in secondary school move more with the female, so will happen. If the male with the secondary school move more with the male, so will happen. Okay, let's go back to the previous slide, please. How do you develop that? So how do you develop? Let me give you an insight to the previous slide. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. How to develop theoretical framework and concepts. So the first thing is to identify your keywords. Identify your keywords, your theories that is useful for this research. I'm concerned about public secondary school. Which theory is useful? Which keyword am I going to use? What do people want to hear in my journal review? What is the right thing happening to them? I can't be talking about public secondary school because there's many people in SS2, SS3. I'll be talking about how they want to be in an industry for 10, 15 years. No, that does not really literally relate. For now, what are those things pertaining to them? Maybe how they want to pass their WAEC, for example, how they want to be the best in the social internet at that time, things like that. So I really literation that be similar or to be used concepts. So I looked at other literatures, other research. As I'm looking at them, I'm citing them in my book. So if I say that, according to J.J. Thompson, 2024, he came up with an idea that this and this and this and that are things secondary school students must do. Use only relevant words and theories. Okay, number one thing is you have developed, you have researched. Number three is to use only relevant. Don't your story, your literary review, your project is switched. Does not mean that you combine me with stories I don't need. Good. Remember what I don't need, what I don't make meaning. So number four, understand how which words. Theories and concept links or leads to each other. That's synergy. Everything you are doing must synergize. There must be a synergy with everything you are doing. Then you develop your own theory and hypothesis. Next slide, please. Next slide. So we're moving on to the next slide again. Yeah, empirical studies and research findings. This one we are relying on empirical research findings. That this one you are going to the. Let's go to the example also. That's the next slide now. The example. Next slide, please. Next slide also. Yeah. So the example here is that still on that same topic I used the first time. How do I do my findings? I have seen previous slides, please. I have seen what I have seen what different researchers have said. So what do I do? I conduct the questionnaire using adolescent question. I think Miss Ibukun will speak more about this. So, for example, in a science lab, what do? I enter the lab. This is basically you enter the lab. You start looking at, okay, what should I do now? Should I do antioxidant test, anti-inflammatory test, anti-convulsant test, or what should I do? What should I do? So in this place, start gathering your test, gathering your. This place will give us an hint about what you are going to gather, the possible test that has been used on these things, the possible test that has been done to come to a result, to come to a conclusion. Kind of tests such as SODs and co. So the previous slides, let me just give us it how to develop these things. I'm sorry I've taken so much of our time. Yeah, so how to develop method of approach to empirical studies. Method of approach. You have the question surveillance, the case studies, the experimental studies, and the experiment. Experiment is what? Lab work. Enter the lab. So next slide. That's why we move to critical analysis and synthesis. Critical. Okay, so yeah, it involves examining strengths and weaknesses. What do you do here? Examine the strength and the weaknesses. So how you get your gap, your research gap, is when you look at the strength and the weaknesses. In most projects, or let me use in every project. Let me bring the theory that might not be entirely true. In most projects, there's always a gap that shows between the strength and the weakness. Or you always find a gap between the strength and the weakness. Or you always find the strength and the weakness. And if you combine the two, you find a gap. I think there's a place that we talk about lit map. That's later. So you have looked at other people research. You have looked at critical analysis. You have looked at research findings. So you're now bringing out your topic from their strength and their weakness. Their strength, from the example I used earlier, their strength has been plant A, and they got their results using plant A. But their weakness has been they only got their results using plant A. So let's assume that I'm in a part of Africa that does not have access to plant A. What will I do? Will I die? But that's the end. No, there's nothing I can do. So that's where the weakness comes in. That's where I entered, I find my research gap, and I start. Next slide, please. Steps to getting this: you ask questions. You organize, you summarize, and you propose new insights. That's it. When you ask questions, you're able to know what to organize and summarize. So if you don't ask questions, and asking questions might not literally mean ask questions. It might literally mean to do your research. So research that now brings you to a place where you ask questions, where you find answers to questions. Next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah, I'd say. So an example now. For studying on mutation analysis and synthesis, you conduct research highlighting differently in various research. You highlight different parts, use a better and simpler method. Good. So their weakness was that they are trying to understand mutation and they were using complex methods. What do I bring into the table? I use a simpler method. I try to tell them that, yeah, I guess what you're trying to do is mutation. But this method you are trying to use, what if some researchers cannot afford it? What if some research institutes cannot avoid it? What if the present research I'm doing is some mutation, but this thing you are doing, I can't avoid it? And I understand that the same principle, it's just like the principle of gravity. If you jump from 2-story building, you will still fall. If you jump from 25-story building, you will still fall. The fall might be stronger than each other, but the two will still fall. So why go to 25-story building to understand the law of gravity? Except I want to understand the fall. But my own principles, but my own theories about my own research about the law of gravity, not about the fall. So I can use the 3-story building and then drop down, and then that's also the law of gravity. Next slide, please. The implication of studying. I had things to write here. I had implication of study. Probably take a type of implication. It's theoretical, practical, and the policy. So that means that your implication of study, your conclusion of study, does it give us a theoretical implication? Can we implement it theoretically? This one that can be created research wise or practical, and does it involve a policy? The policy was like, okay, let's go to the next slide. I think I dropped an example here also. It was an insight what I'm saying. Example, yeah. For studying on mutation, I can say my implication might include I found or I'm currently researching on a new way to use a particular bioactive component of a plant differently as in the previous research. So my lecture I already told them that plant A has been used in different years. But in plant B, I'm going to bring in plant B now. I'm going to show you what plant B can do. Remember, my research finding, I have been able to state successfully what plant B does. Plant B is an abi this and that plant, hibiscus plant, this like that. And then it has this and these properties. And then he has the properties also is able to do this and this. So I'm going to tell you that the implication is that I'm going to tell you how you can use plant B to cure the same thing researchers have using plant A to do. So the better and simpler method is identify in vitro or in vivo. In vitro or in vivo means that it's a research that involves lab work or non-lab work, things like that. That's a research. So next slide, please. In conclusion, so I have been able to tell you how your research should go, framework, critical analysis, the implications. Let me tell you what you should have in your research, how to do a citation. Why do we need citations that can get? We need citations that can get other people research review about this. You are not the first to do that, and you won't be the last. So, but the way it will happen is that you won't be the last because in your own research, someone will find out that okay, maybe plant A was what you review, plant B was what you discussed about, but in that same plant B, does it get more properties? Or plant C somewhere in East Midlands or in South America can also do this thing you are doing. So let me research on it. So in conclusion now, our research questions. Define the problem. To define the problem of topic, that's the first thing. That's the what am I doing? If you know the what you are doing nothing actually. You will just go in circles, in circles, in circles. But a part of what affected me too. I spent close to a year plus my research. So we have to work on seizure, what on epilepsy. But the review we are using, we know what we are doing, no? We know what we are doing, like we know what we want to do, we want to treat seizure, we want to treat epilepsy. But the what we are now using, we are using 250 milligram, inject 5 times a day, inject 2 times a day. And then our own rats, they have undergone different feeding habits. And then we should inject epilepsy and administer treatment that same day. We should not wait the next day. What the next day, they will all die. And let me not lie to you. We bought rats, rat upon rat, and they keep dying until we came to the realization that okay, the topic the problem they identified was that what they injected was maybe minimal. And then what they injected was they did not inject epilepsy directly, they injected with something else. And from there, they were able to stay hours before treating, or they're able to find it. But me, what I'm doing is I found a gap in what they did. The gap was that they didn't use a particular plant, or they didn't use the full component of a particular plant. But me, I'm using the full component of a particular plant, and I'm giving them a full treatment. So that means that my own end product should be that I want these people to live. So when they live and I test their organ, what really went wrong? But when they die, the organs are deteriorating, I may not get my result. So for them, maybe they got their result from their deteriorated organ, but me, I may not get. So like that, you identify your research topic, you align your research objective, you answer specific questions, questions that are general to you. There are also questions that are specific. Specific is that okay, in most cases, questions of duration of when might not be a specific question, might be a general question. When will you finish? So projects will also might like your topic and say, okay, you have done for Abinu, can you done for this one, that one, things like that. So, but there are questions that can be specific. Questions like, what is my end goal? My end goal is to test this organ and to look at the effect on it. So that means I can compare it to the woman effect. When someone asks issue, what goes wrong? What are the things? What are the things I can target? Where can I target? Next slide, please. I'm almost done. I'm so sorry for I think I overshoot that time. Next slide, please. Okay, so knowing the right research question, I choose an area of study or research. I understand the specific work done in my research field or laboratory. I use research to lit maps. Because of time. Maybe when we are sending list map, I can just type list maps on Google and go there. You see list map. What the map does is that I used it, I've registered. When you have mentors, it's like this. Yeah. My mentor I'm talking about understand what I'm saying actually. So list map, list map is such a way that it helps to identify the synergy between your research. Okay, maybe when we are after this class, when we are sending these slides to all the undergraduates, I can add maybe 1 minute or 1 minute 30 seconds video how to use these maps. Yeah. Also, you answer specific question or hypothesis. Next slide, please. Start early. Start early. Start early. Start early. All those things that affected me in practical, it didn't really affect me in writing, actually. I did in practical. So when I got my practical results very writing. But in most cases, when you are writing, practical results might change. That's why we say start early. Start your research work, start your practical work, your writing work, your review work, your place work, start early. Get the right article and journal. And then I think the next slide I'm going to talk about to get the right article and journal. And then make use of writing tools. You have the so make use of writing tools. The right writing tools. Writing tools can be plagiarism checker, paraphrasing tools. I think the person speaking on conclusion should speak on that. I think chapter 4 now. Yeah, and conclusion should speak on that. So plagiarism tools. Quillboards. Yeah. Actually, you don't really need a lot of things, let me lie to you, except maybe you are going for the maybe you are doing a PhD write-up now. But the undergraduate actually, majorly what we need maybe the paraphrasing and the QuickBooks, then the plagiarism checker, because if there's plagiarism, I think I should already avoid plagiarism. I think I added it in this, avoid plagiarism. There's plagiarism in your work. I lie not to you people. Professor will return your work, and then your work might not be able to, in most cases, this your thesis that is being used for you is being a major point whereby we say, okay, from your thesis, let's get to a journal first. So, but if there are many plagiarism in your journal, even if your current professor at that time did not check it, when you are trying to produce a journal in your thesis, sorry, when you're trying to produce a journal, there'll be a problem. You have to sit down and start all over again. And I think undergraduates do that a lot. They plagiarize a lot. So, and you avoid plagiarism 100%? Maybe not. But to a larger extent, you can avoid plagiarism. So that's where because we cannot avoid plagiarism 100%, that's where citation comes in. So that's why you cite things he said and you put his name. Yeah. Because if someone wants to cite your own journal, you put your own name. If he does not put your own name, that's plagiarism. So things like that. Next slide, please. Understand what you are looking for. I think I was talking about that. And then add the PDF on your search. If I was my sister, I would have shown this one. So I found out that in most cases, if you are looking for journals on food management, so instead of writing those journals on food management, just write journals on food management or PDF. If you write journals on food management, it will take you to a casual search. Actually, you might have some PDF in between. But if you write journal on food management .pdf, it will give you journals, research work. It will link you Google Scholar, research, getting like that. It will link it together for you. I found out that if you add your PDF, it will link all those things for you. But if you just add just for food management, it will take you to Google pages, people that have written one page article somewhere. But if you put your PDF, it will take you to written pages. It will also take you to external articles, ResearchGate-related articles, Google Scholar-related articles, and those ones have been tested, they have been cited in different works. So those ones are approved. And use most dominant keywords. I mentioned this earlier. That's why in your abstract, you are told to use keywords. So your keywords too must relate. So you should not be talking about science. They're telling us about diseases. You are using something else. Next slide, please. Good. So we have the qualitative and quantitative research. I spoke about this. The comprehensive summary. And the headings, we have the main headings and the subheadings. Numbering, figures, and diagrams. As a way to number. So the first one is, let me start with 1.0. I spoke about diseases. Let me now move to 1.1. We spoke about neurodegenerative disease. Don't move to 2.0. No. Since you are still speaking about that disease, that's the main heading. There are still subheadings, like everything you are still saying is still connected to the main heading. So it should be 1.0, 1.1, neurodegenerative disease. Maybe you are now saying things about types of neurodegenerative disease, for example. Now, types of neurodegenerative disease. As in that type of neurodegenerative disease, we have epilepsy, we have Alzheimer's, things like that. Oh. All right. You can hear me now. So you don't have 1.0, 1.1. You already have 1.1. You don't have 1.2 again. No. In most cases, advisable you have 1.1. That means that you are still talking about the same thing. That means from disease, neurodegenerative disease, and the types. So it's still under neurodegenerative disease. So don't make it look as if you are still. If you move to 1.3, that means that you are talking about diseases, but it's about something else entirely. I really wish I can have, maybe before sending this to us, we have a breakdown, something like that. So your numberings, your figures and your diagrams. Your figures and diagrams. They are when you are putting diagram in this place, it should be put in a way where you give us the source. You just give us diagram alone. You just say, this is diagram now. A plant. Maybe you took a picture of a particular plant. And now put it there. A plant. No. Don't tell us a plant. Tell us it's yes. Don't tell us a plant. Yes, we know it's a plant. But don't tell us a plant. Tell us an hibiscus plant, doing this and that. Let's give us the source. Except in some cases, maybe the professor does not allow. But in most cases, I can tell you, the recommended one is give us the source and things like that. Next slide, please. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you. I think I've spent time a lot, but I believe we all gain value. Thank you so much for your time. And then this slide, when it's been available, when it's been made to be available, I will maybe add some those that I've spoken about, a short clip about this map and the numbering thing. I find that most of us we do make mistakes in numbering and also in diagram. It's just diagram and numbering. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your time. Moderator, you have the floor now.
Okay. Thank you for the work. Sure. So our next tutor will be Blessing Nata. Please, are you here? Blessing. Hello, Blessing.
I'm with you, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Okay, please, you can start now.
Okay, let me share my slide. Sorry. So good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I hope you enjoyed the last can you all see my screen, please?
Yes.
Okay. So last week we talked about the chapter 1 of how you can write a research as a management. Yeah. And I believe, according to what I've seen so far from those that have taken us in chapter 1 and chapter 2, it seems it's almost not like almost, but it's likely almost same thing. Because Mr. Adebayo, if I'm right, he really took us through how we can write our chapter 2. And ours is almost like same thing. He was able to explain explicitly on how to write chapter 2, and I think it's almost same thing what I'll be saying. So I'll just brush through it quickly, and so that at least we will know, we have an idea on how we can write research as a management student. So for those of us that are science students here, you can just try to see through how you can write research as a management student. For our chapter 2, we have 2.1. That is our conceptual review. We are going to discuss about the key concepts about the topic. So I think last week I talked about the impact of self-employment on academic performance of students. That was the topic I used as an example. So for this kind of thing, if you want to write your chapter 2.1, what we just need you to do after getting your PDFs and the past research that you want to use, that you have downloaded, what we just need to do is just to check the meanings of the key terms in your topic. So this topic is impact of self-employment on the academic performance of students. So you have to tell us, you have to define and give us concept review on self-employment, concept review on academic performance, and if you like, you can even give us concept review on students. Just give us a broad definition, the types, the importance, the challenges. That is just what we want you to write forward in 2.1. And most of the time, your 2.1 is always the larger part of the chapter. But you have to give us many definitions according to so and so. And in this part, this is where this chapter is chapter that you're going to have much of your references. Yes, because you have to cite many authors as possible. So you have to give us the types, the importance, and the definition of each of those things. That's just what you want to do in 2.1. And your 2.2, which is theoretical review, give us the relevant theories. In this case, don't stress yourself. Just go through the PDFs that you've downloaded and pinpoint the theories that they already did when they were doing their own research. It's something simple. But just make sure that the theories you are trying to paste on your own project is the same thing with the theory that related to your own work. So what you just have to do is go to the PDF that are downloaded, try to check their own theoretical reviews. What are the theories they cited in their own work? So for topics like this, impact of employment, you have to look at probably social value theory, acceleration theory, so and so forth. So just try to check through what you have in your PDFs. And also you can try to probably browse more, ask Google, what are the theories that are related to self-employment and academic performance? So the way you ask Google will just give you your answer. So this is chapter 2. I repeat myself. Chapter 2, you don't need to stress yourself. Just go through your PDFs and you get your answer. But most of the time, just like what Mr. Adebayo said, you have to try to phrase some of your words so that it won't be as the same as the one you copy. And that's why I advise people last class that try to pick it from over 10 to 12 PDFs. So that as you're picking one word from this one, picking the next one from another one, that's how to write the project. And that's just the practice for me, actually. So for 2.3, you have to give us the empirical review of your topic. And what is one saying? This one is saying that what are the past research that this science has done? So probably AB Ambali 2021 has done a study on the topic that is closely related to your own. You can go to his own PDF, write out his name and those that he actually did the research with, his name and everything, then go to his conclusion and check what he found out. That's the best way you can do a critical review. So the PDFs that are downloaded, try to check those that wrote them and go to their conclusion and check what they found out. So you say Amber 23 found that or concluded that so and so is so and so. So that's why you can get your empirical review. Empirical review is just telling you that what are those that did it last time? What did they get? What did they find out? So that's what you write. So you can write as many as possible. You can write like over 20 authors. That this author said this author said this author said this. That's why you write empirically. It's very, very simple. Then for your 2.4, which is your research gap, this is where you're going to write your own yourself. You don't have to copy anybody. Think through, okay, Amberly has found that thing. Why am I writing this research? I don't know if science people have told you anything about research gap, probably in chapter 1 or chapter 4. But for us as language students, your research gap must be in chapter 2. And what you are writing there, just something very, very short, like probably 3 to 4 lines. You are telling us that so many authors has researched on so and so topic, but then I feel, don't use I feel actually, but then you are saying that there are some gaps that are still needed to be researched on. That is why you are focusing on the topic. Probably Amberly focused on academic performance of engineering students, and that does not cover or that does not show that all students are self-employed or they are not self-employed according to his conclusion. I hope you all get me. So your own research can be that you think we need to research more on probably management students or on probably Isuka students or on probably Abeokuta students. So just give us why you think we need to research your own topic in accordance to your previous researches. So according to what we have in our empirical review, you could see that this person and this person have done this, but we need to fill this gap as well. That is why we are doing this. So you just write out your topic, but I'm writing this topic because I feel all of these authors I haven't covered enough. And give us a specific thing that you really want to examine or evaluate in your topic. It's just as simple as that. Then for your last section, that's 2.5, you are giving us a diagram. That's what we call conceptual framework in management scope. Conceptual framework. Give us a diagram of what you want to do. And this is how it works. You have your topic already. Effect of self-employment on academic performance of future students. That's our topic. That's my favorite topic actually. So you give us what are the variables I think should be under self-employment. You know, in every topic, you must have 2 variables, the dependent and the independent. But then I have 2 variables in my topic, which is self-employment and academic performance. That's the 2 things I'm actually working on. So you have to give us like a diagram of what you think should be on this. So you can have like I should have given us a table example, but then just like a diagram that can link your self-employment to your academic performance. Just like a small framework, like a drawing, like a diagram that can link self-employment to academic performance. So under your self-employment, you not give us variables under it. You can say self-employment can be business, it can be entrepreneurship, it can be anything, it can be probably extracurricular activity that's earning you money. So give us variables under self-employment. So you're saying self-employment, put an arrow, write business, and another arrow, entrepreneurship, another arrow, extracurricular activities that earns money or that earns income. Then you go to academic performance, link an arrow to academic performance. Give us variable on academic performance. Academic performance can be your GPA, it can be your the way you learn or the way you assimilate well in class. It depends on what you are using as your variable as person writing the research. So you have to think through for your 2.4 and your 2.5. If you can give us something very valuable and something very convincing in 2.4 and 2.5, then definitely you are doing a great job. Other work are not something very, 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 very hard. The hard part is just the 2.4 and 2.5, where you have to sit down yourself as a researcher and give us the research gap and the conceptual framework, that is the diagram that can link the 2 variables together. So that is how we write our chapter 2 as a management student. Thank you so much.
Okay. Please, do you have any question? Time for question and answer. Question and answer, please, from participants, from fellow tutors. or addition to what has been said? Mr. Blessing, question, or do you have something to say? Hello, Mr. Blessing.
Hello, can you hear me, ma?
Yes,
Can
I
you hear
can.
me?
Yes.
So concerning this literature review, most theses that I've seen, especially in microbiology, they don't really have. You don't see something like the uh conceptual framework, theoretical review. You won't see them there. You get it, man. So you have like subtopics. Though what they are trying to explain there is actually theoretical framework, theoretical review, conceptual framework, research gap. I get it. So how can we balance it up with the format or the standard or the idea, the format that they are using in our school? Because most times the supervisor will ask us to go and check out previous set report, thesis report, and once you check it, you won't see something like conceptual framework there. All you have to see is just see a topic, maybe cancer, causes of cancer, cancer 2.1, causes of cancer, types of cancer, cancer treatment, like that. You won't see some of these things that Mr. Emmanuel highlighted. That can be about it. Thank you.
Mr. Emmanuel, please can you answer the question? Hello, Mr. Emmanuel. Oh,
Yes, sorry. I think can you hear me now? I think I'm having network glitches again. Can you hear me now?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Right. So when I was saying those things, you won't see conceptual framework, you won't see epic analysis, you won't see something like, okay, this and this, I was talking about and I said, okay, 1.0, for example, now, epical framework, then 1.1. No, that's why I cited some example. You won't see things like that there, but that's the framework in your mind that you are working with. That's what is in your mind that you are working with. Okay, you are working with those 4 steps. You are working with the major, it's like a funnel. From the major, you are going down to get to the mind, to get to what you want. So, in the place of me going to the lab, conducting my analysis, instead of me going to different research work, going to journals and articles, getting what they say, okay, looking at their strengths and weaknesses. In everything, I'm doing my framework, I'm doing my critical analysis, but they won't, that's the general name. When we say critical analysis like that, we're not trying to tell you that you won't write it. No, we didn't write it. And nobody will write it down in this our project. No. We're just giving you the idea of those things. So, for example, now, let's say I want to write a project now on cancer. Just like I think you mentioned cancer, on cancer. My theoretical framework is that, one, what is cancer? So I can just get someone like me now. I can do more with, right? So I just get number one, theoretical framework. So the thing I'm looking at theoretical framework, I draw some arrow. I'm looking at cancer is what? So I will look at it later as cancer is a degenerative disease. So I'm saying, okay, the first thing is degenerative disease, good. 2, what makes a cancer a degenerative disease? I'll write it there. So when I'm now writing my thesis, I'm writing my literature review, I will start with diseases, degenerative disease, types of degenerative disease, cancer. What is cancer? From the research from WHO, what have they said about cancer? Is there anything else these are saying about cancer? This, and that. So all those process like that, I liked it. You have captured your theoretical framework. You are entering your critical analysis. So not that you are writing it down. No, just that you are saying those things. So it's those things that will be, you have it in your mind, or you can get maybe like someone like me now, for example, I like using myself. In cases like this, I've gotten a rough book, I've written it down. So those ones are that are guiding principles to what I will do. So I will not. So if I'm seeing other keywords that are not part of my research findings, I will not use them. Once I have things guiding me, so I know my what, my when, my how, my where is being answered. I know where I'm going. I know what I want. Because during research, when trying to look for strengths and weaknesses in some cases, in some research work, you will see other strengths and weaknesses leading you leading you somewhere else that are interesting. Okay, let me tell you now. Research, what make people glue to research, what make people fund research? Is research interesting? How will it benefit all of us in Nigeria? How will it add to maybe the SDG goals, WHO goals? So I might want to deviate, but no, because I already have my concept in my head. I already have my concept somewhere. So I want to write my research down. So one of the things I thought was that this was my research here, but I'm not using my system now. So I believe Mr. Blessing got that. Or I didn't explain your question well. Let me know. If I didn't explain that well. Thank you.
Mr. Lekon, do you have anything to add? Or Mr. Christopher, do you have anything to add?
Okay, thank you so much for that explanation, Mr. Emmanuel. It's indeed a well explained information. So today, what we really discuss about is the literature review. And if you are going to go about writing literature review as an undergraduate, it goes beyond just deciding on what you want to do, like coming up with title or topic of your research. It goes beyond just that. Now, as Mr. Emmanuel has discussed about getting questions, which obviously is going to be reflecting in your introduction. But then because literature review is more of you saying stories, histories, going back in time into what has been done or what is currently known, it's going to take you much time to come up with a more comprehensive literature or more comprehensive understanding of what you want to look around. So if I'm going to be working on literature, like Mr. Emmanuel said, there are different types. You get, and because there are different types, the idea of how to go about writing a literature review is completely different. Now, most of the time for undergraduates, the literature review kind that is being done in Nigeria universities, the general literature framework, which does not necessarily give you a framework of what you need to put in together. But there are also different other types, which is the systematic, the meta-analysis, and all that, which help you streamline either the year you want to look into, like the year expand range, the kind of study you want to look into, and then with the use of Boolean keywords, Boolean structure to beat down the number of articles. Now, if you would want to search for articles online before you can go ahead and write your literature, like I used to tell people, there is thousands of paper available on your work or on the work you want to carry out. But then the differences in these papers might just be something little. And then for you to go about picking up paper that is going to be very useful for your kind of research, that is when you start looking into systematic search, which not everybody does as an undergraduate, and you might not need to focus much on that. But then for the ordinary literature review style, you are just going to generalize information that is known, an understanding of what you want to work around. So if as a microbiologist, you want to work on your chapter 2, which is the literature review, And you have the concept of writing on what is that your topic again, Mr. Blessing? Can you please remind me?
Incidence of hepatitis B among staff students.
Incidence of hepatitis B in amongst FUTA students. Now you see that, like the way I told you the last time, is the work is limited to FUTA because that is where the population of your study is going to be coming from. And then because FUTA is a big school with thousands of students, you are not going to be using the entire FUTA students. You get what I'm saying? And peradventure, there might have been a study before that has used a school environment with a sample size that is, let's say, 100 students. You get what I'm saying? Which obviously the 100 students might not automatically amount for information of the over 10,000, 100,000 students that is available. But then it's going to give you an idea of what you would expect in that population. So for literature review, let's say you now want to conduct information about people that are in that place, and you are not picking students from different level. You just want to focus on a level. And because you want to focus on level, you now want to say, oh, this is my research. I want to focus on history of students that have graduated. You see that you are streamlining the student number you are going to be picking. At the same time, it's going to be making your work more specific. That is how literature reviews in the systematic idea comes in. You get now. So there are some certain rules you have to follow. There are some guidelines you have to follow before you can pick out articles to start writing or using for the structure of your writing. So, but then because that is not what we are really here to discuss, I believe you have learned one or two things from everything Mr. Emmanuel has given us today. And I hope that if there are any questions, you can ask now. I know there are questions, but you don't want to ask. I know. So if there is any question from my side, I think he has done justice to just that. And next week, we have a methodology. So the next tutor is going to be doing justice to that. So while we wait for next week, or while we prepare for next week, if you have questions, you can just drop it now so we can attend to it.
Any question, Mr. Blessing? Any more question?
Miss Hester, are you ask a question? I think you are just joining us fully today. The last two classes, you were not really present.
Hello, Mr. Blessing. Are you trying to say something? Miss Esther, do you have anything to say? Any questions?
I have a question. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
go
I have a
ahead.
question, but my question is not really in line. It's in line, but I want to ask about seminar writing, the difference between seminar writing and project writing, or is there any correlation between the outline, I mean the structure for writing projects? Is it the same thing as the one for seminar? Because currently now, I think most students are most involved in seminar, and I don't really have a detailed knowledge about that. So please, I don't know if anyone can do justice to that. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you for that question. As an undergraduate, I believe from your 100 level, most of the things you might have been conversant with is practical manual writing, which obviously everybody know how to write. And then another thing I know students used to write is there is this essay, they call it 10 paper. Yes. Now, the structure of you writing a seminar, like you said, is much different from a project write-up or thesis write-up, because in seminar, you are not really going to be doing much of a new contributing new idea to whatever you want to write. Now, if you are talking about seminar now, the seminar is like coming up with an area of in your field that is currently receiving attention in terms of research, funding, and all that. Now, as an FST student that you are, I know that currently many research are going into the use of food, not just as supplements, but as for the development of drugs. You get now. But then because we as African, we have several indigenous plants that has phytobioactive compounds that are being investigated in research now. And there is a particular research that disease, for instance, that you know that is common to Africans. But because you feel this is an area that you can look into as a 500 level student, you might want to come up with a summarized information about what you have read or what you know about that area. That is where a seminar comes up. Now, in a seminar, you are, as an undergraduate, you are expected to come up with two things. Now, one is a PowerPoint presentation of what you have read, much summarized in about, let's say, 15 to 20 slides, if I'm not mistaken. And then this seminar you have presented or you have structured in a slide is just like you preparing the content that is much more summarized with more of the knowledge known to you, and you are presenting it to a set of certain number of people within your organization or in a class or in your department. Let me put it that way. Now that you're an undergraduate or a student, you are going to be presenting it to your lecturers that have much more years of experience in this area. So it's not like you are coming up with something they don't have idea of, but they want to see your understanding and the concepts in which you are going to be using to present it. That is in the aspect of the PowerPoint presentation. Now, after you have provided your PowerPoint, there is another need for you to come up with a write-up that is going to be much comprehensive. Now, this write-up, I choose to see it as a literature review. But then for seminar, there is a particular structure in the way it is written that makes it much more different from thesis. Now, in a seminar write-up, most of the time, you would not see a portion or a part of the work to have certain parts like methodology. You cannot see methodology there. You cannot see abstracts, or you will not see abstracts. Another thing you will not see is, most of the time, is a section that is called result. Yes, you would not see result. So most of the time, seminar write-up in a Word document is always having the introduction, the body, discussion, and conclusion, then with your references. Now, sometimes you will see departments coming up with a requirement that you must arrange it in such a way that it must have table of contents, it must have figures, it must have tables, it must have plates, such like that. But then because this is not a generalized document based on the departments in which you are working or the departments you are doing your undergraduates, there might be a little flexibility in the way you are going to structure your seminar write-up. But of course, I know it is much more generalized that you would have a seminar document that is having table of contents, acknowledgement to your supervisor, you get now, then going into your introduction, then the body of information, much more like comprehensive, and then with the discussion, you get now, then coming up with a conclusion and references. So it's more like you say you are breaking down your literature review, that is an aspect of your thesis, into a much more smaller document. So it's not going to be too comprehensive. And now if you are going to write a seminar write-up, sometimes it should not be, it will not be more, it will not be more than a thesis. And of course, I told you a thesis is about 40 to 60 pages for undergraduate. Now, if you are going to be writing this for your seminar report, it's going to be maybe within 20 to 25 pages. Now, you are going to see that there is a lot of difference in the number of pages, in the structure of how you are going to write it, and the information. But then at the back of your mind, just know that what you are preparing is a summarized or subsidized literature review that is not too comprehensive like what you are going to be writing in a thesis. You get now. But then on a graduate 500 level, know that for your seminar, you are going to be preparing 2 documents, which is a PowerPoint, much summarized for you to discuss what you have written, what you have found out about an area of your research that is peculiar to your field of study, and a document in which you are going to be submitting to your department. You get now. So those are the 2 things you need to prepare for a seminar. But for thesis, it's completely different. And that is what we have discussed. We have been discussing so far. So today is just the literature review part of your thesis. I don't know if I have been able to give you a breakdown of what it is. And if there is any other contribution from any of the tutor, you can unmute yourself and give much more information. Is there any comments, any other addition, subtraction?
Mr. Leko,
Mr. Emmanuel. Okay, I guess.
Okay.
is it? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good afternoon again. Yeah, Mr. Christopher has said it all. Yeah, has said it all actually. Is right actually. Except in some cases actually. The seminar is just like an abridged version of the thesis. I think it's said that. There are a few cases where the thesis can be more than 80 pages. And those are in extreme cases like my own. I think my own thesis was 120-something pages that I submitted. So because that our work. But except in few cases, but your seminar is not an abridged version. Yeah, I understand what the sister was trying to ask. All seminars, things like that. Yeah, it literally follows the procedure of the thesis. I think Mr. Christopher said it. Yeah, just take it what he said.
Miss Esther, are you okay
Thank you,
with
sir.
the response? Miss
Yes, ma'am.
Esther. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any other question? Mr. Blessing, do you have any other question?
No, for now.
Okay, all right. So in the absence of that, I just want to say a big thank you to our tutor, Mr. Emmanuel Adebayo and Miss Blessing Nata, for the wonderful lecture they delivered today. And thank you to our fellow tutor, Mr. Olaleko, for your presence today. And to our host, Mr. Christopher, thank you for the response. You did justice. And to our participants, Mr. Blessing and Miss Esther, thank you for joining us today. So the session continues next week, where we'll be talking about harnessing the use of AI in thesis writing and chapter 3 of a thesis, which chapter 3 has to do with methodology. So Mr. Olaleko Adetola will be doing justice to that next week, Saturday. So please, same time, same link next week, Saturday. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Auntie Esther, what are you still doing? Auntie Esther.